this is kind of like making fantasy sports for work, right? So
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
keeping track of
there you
your
go.
stats, you're keeping track of your contributions, you're being taking pride in it. And what does fantasy sports do? It actually makes us pay attention to teams we normally won't care about, right? This allows workers to pay attention at a more broad sense about what's happening in the company and being a better part of it.
Hello, it's Mark Kuhar, editor of Rock Products, and we are recording live from the AggNexus Digital Innovation Conference. And I'm here today with Manny Tejano of Rocket Start. Manny, how are you doing today?
Good, Mark. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Good. So tell us a little bit about your history in the industry, and especially tell us about Rocket Start.
Absolutely. So my journey starts in 2005. I was just graduated Villanova University with a computer engineering degree, and I was looking at just different tech jobs and tech opportunities. And one came across from a friend of mine, and hey, can you help us in IT? So I took the position, and I was there for 15 years, working in the technology for a ready-mix supplier. They also do a vertically integrated company. So they have rock quarries, asphalt plants, concrete plants, and a contracting business as well. So I did IT. I first kind of started off changing, toners and working on printers and into the machinery. And then I started getting into systems, started getting involved in how things work. I implemented an ERP system back in 2015. So I kind of learned how the business worked, quote to cash. Also was very much diving into operations and concrete plants and the different machinery that they own and the different computer sets and technology that they had. So I started getting into management, and I started to want to help specifically with the ready-mix concrete industry. And I saw there was a couple things. Retention is always something that we talk about in this field. We were struggling with that in our company at the time. We're also struggling with just how do we get the message out to millennials and Gen Z about careers in concrete, careers in construction. So I started off with my own company first, just creating Rocket Start. So Rocket Start is basically gamification for the ready-mix concrete industry at first, how it started. And what we did was we were just basically an employee engagement app. So if you guys are familiar with Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or Target,
Been there a few times, yeah.
they're called brand loyalty apps. You probably have them on your
Yes.
phone. So they want to bring loyalty to your brand. I want to do the same thing for our employees. I want to be able to have armed producers with an app so that they could be engaged with their daily success. So through our app, we actually celebrate wins and give badges for things like perfect attendance in a week, completed loads, no rejected loads in a month, keeping a clean truck, all the things that are essential to being a really good ready mix concrete delivery professional. And that's how it started. Trying to, ultimately give notification and recognition for some of these things. And let's be honest with you, like a lot of folks in our industry are just very, technology shy. And I think in a lot of cases, especially when it comes to folks that are drivers, they look at technology as Big Brother watching them, as tracking their mistakes. So I want to turn that around, and I say, hey, can we use technology to make sure that we keep track of everything good that you've done? When a customer calls in and say you did a great job, when you are able to help out on a job site, when you're able to keep your truck clean all year long, that you could actually show it off at at a parade. So we actually have ways we could benchmark it and give kudos for it. And my biggest thing is, instead of having this data reside in a spreadsheet, why don't we actually, these metrics that we have, why don't we celebrate it, and why don't we feel it? So what in turn is workers get badges for completion of just simply doing good at work. They all equal points. So we also have leaderboards. So there's also competition between our workers that actually kind of fuels a competitive spirit and kind of helps a little bit of build a competitive and team atmosphere. And then I also tie in to do the recognition. We also tie in rewards. So we have a platform where we partner with Amazon.com and Priceline.com to book vacations. You could actually get gift cards on our app, but we want to tie in and directly give a instant gratification for their good work, and we let them earn and redeem rewards for their work.
Now, talk me through this process a little bit.
Yeah.
How are these data points being entered so that it's accurate and reflective of what that employee is actually doing?
Absolutely. So, our biggest claim to fame is Rocket Start. You, as a person that's using it, as a driver, you don't actually have to do anything, right? It's passive. It's collecting data, like you just said, from different GPS systems, from time and attendance systems, from scheduling system, right? We're going to know if you come to work on time. We're going to know if you did 5 loads today. You're going to know if you worked for this weekend and maybe signed up for doing some work at off hours to help out. So we have one way where we're taking some automatically getting information and deriving it from those sources. But then we also have a manual method that we're very proud of, where we could actually um, acknowledge behaviors that are beyond a system, right? So when someone went above and beyond and helped out, the biggest example I gave is a loader called in sick at a concrete plant, and so one of the drivers said, "Hey, let me help out. Let me help you out and operate the loader for the day." And he didn't get his Rocket Start normal points as a driver, but as a way to give him credit for helping out when he needed, he got a badge called doing a solid, and he was able to get a badge. And then there's a little comment from the manager what he did today. That comment resides on his profile. That comment resides with his platform, and then we also, as managers, could see every time when someone goes above and beyond. So once again, you could start to benchmark excellence that happens sometimes outside the normal systems, right? So we have a combination of manual and automatic recognition.
So, in terms of employee acceptance of this, I know you mentioned that a lot of employees might be a little bit skeptical or think that they're being maybe overmanaged or something. But how have they responded to the sort of ability to get positive reinforcement out of this?
Yeah. So I think, just to be honest, there's a lot of folks that, there's a lot of companies that tried different programs in the past to do recognition or to do bonuses. So they're going to first be a little bit more, I've dealt with environments where they're just skeptical. Is this another flash in the pan? Is this a So the way I best explain it is, well, your company invested money for a third party system to come out here and acknowledge all the good that you're doing and share that information with you. You could choose to accept it or not. But I'll tell you this, if you do play the game and you do accept it, you do understand where maybe you realize, hey, if I work a couple more weekends, if I do a little bit more shifts, I could get to my goal of getting that vacation quicker, or getting that laptop for my daughter quicker, or things like that. So we make that transparent now, their progress. So the thing that I've learned too, working with Gen Z and millennials, is they don't want to wait for annual reviews. They want constant, sometimes online, feedback.
Good point.
So we could give that to them now, and based on data that we achieve.
So, at this point, how widespread is usage of the system?
Yeah. So we have about 700 drivers today using the app. We have some really good partners out there. For example, the Tennessee Concrete Association. We have worked with them to basically run Rocket Start. We call it Driver Dash for the state. So we are actually celebrating on year 2 now the best
Wow.
drivers on the state. So it's not just doing your standard, mixer rodeo or things like that. We want to be able to capture that day-to-day attendance, loads, excellence, and we're doing that. And last year we were also able to give out our first championship belt. So think about like a wrestling belt
Yeah.
that we had. So we were able to give the top driver of Tennessee a championship belt, and it looked like he felt like $1 million, and it was
That-
probably the biggest award he's ever received, in his career. And we're really happy and excited to do that at producer levels, company levels, and also have an opportunity to do it at a state level. So we like to build and bring this type of motivation into the workforce at all layers.
So we've been talking concrete and ready mix, but can this be modified or also used for the aggregates industry, the asphalt industry, maybe
Absolutely.
the contractors? I mean, how far can it go?
Yeah. So the biggest reason for doing this, not just because, we should be recognizing our workers, and when we know that's a good thing when it happens, but we're trying to battle, a lot of things, right? You're trying to battle, why are people leaving for a dollar or two, right? We were trying to battle retention and high turnover rates. That happens a lot in our industry. So, to answer your question, yes, we actually have clients that are vertically integrated that have started to get into some of the other platforms. So we do have a excavation division. We have badges for the quarry. We have badges for the asphalt plant. So it's just a matter of figuring out what those behaviors that we want to see for our employees, making sure that we could get that data easily and repeat it. And once we consistently get that information, provide that form for managers to also recognize when these things happen. But that's all we need. We just have to figure out what those behaviors are and easily track them, and then we could use our system to deliver that same piece. So our goal at the end of the day is to be able to help you retain your employers because they're
Hmm.
engaged not only engaged in their work, but they're also engaged in realizing that their work goals are kind of like a similar to the company's work goals. So the best advice that I had was someone told me this is kind of like making fantasy sports for work, right? So
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
keeping
yeah.
track
There
of
you
your
go.
stats, you're
Mhm.
keeping track of your contributions, you're being taking pride in it. And what does fantasy sports do? It actually makes us pay attention to teams we normally won't care about, right? This
Mhm.
allows workers to pay attention at a more broad sense about what's happening in the company and being a better part of it. So that's what we're trying to do.
So have upper management sort of embraced this, and they do not see this as a way that maybe they hadn't looked at before in engaging with their employees and using it as a retention tool.
Yes. So working with management and kind of proving, the effectiveness of gamification, that's something that I like to do every quarter with my clients. Just basically, we would take a look at the badges given out. Are we trending the right way? Are we trending negatively? Is
Hmm.
this a product of the business? Is this a product of just a workforce, right? So we take a look at that. But well, we're very happy to, proudly say that we've helped our clients in the past from year 1 to year 3 gain anywhere from 18 to 28% loads per driver increases.
Hmm.
We also see significant safety increases. We had a client where their first year alone of using our program, the money that they've saved on their tires paid for it because they're more careful with the truck and their piece. And that's what we want to do is we want to empower our drivers to essentially be franchisees of
Hmm.
our. I mean, they're operating a very expensive truck, right? So
Hmm.
for them to want to be able to take accountability on their work, take cleanliness, doing their pre-trips, taking care of their truck, is it's when they try to treat work as their own franchise. I mean, I think that's when you win, and that's what we want to unlock for our customers.
In terms of inclusiveness here, is it available in bilingual form?
Yes. Our first non-English speaking customer was actually French. So we are,
Oh wow.
yes. So we had a awesome opportunity for a client in Quebec. So we have that, but we also are multilingual. We have a language pack set up so we could
Hmm.
do other languages as well. But yes, we do have that ability.
Now, do they have to download a special app for a specific language, or can they download the app and then pick the language?
Yes, you download the app and pick the language. We'll have that option for you. So. Yeah.
Interesting. Or is there any other like innovations that can be like bolted onto this that you're thinking of?
Yeah. Oh,
Any way to
tons.
grow it
Yes.
without giving away any of your secrets?
Exactly. No, so our biggest thing, right, is we want to engage, particularly the next generation of workers. So we have to kind of understand who they are. So they have a higher propensity to, post on social media. Why is that? Because they want to feel like that their opinion They feel that their opinion matters,
Hmm.
and that it's a platform that they want to be heard. So taking that concept, I do the same thing. Is I have a suggestion box part of our app, where if you have a good idea, maybe it's like, hey, look at I just saw this company use this type of acid wash for their trucks. I want to take a picture and show my manager. Maybe I want to acknowledge my peers doing something good, or hey, let me take a picture. We at our free time, we cleaned up the break room where we set this up here. You'd be surprised about the amount of people that want to be able to celebrate wins, and doing it together. So what started off as a suggestion box has now become more of a caught doing good type of stuff, and that's how we're doing it. So we're evolving positive feedback, not only just from management, but also from your workers, and giving them a platform to be able to voice their opinion and doing that. So in exchange, if it's something that the manager likes, they could give them a badge for that, right? So we have that. We're also looking into things like taking accountability on your shifts, maybe potentially doing some shift swapping with your peers, figuring out, hey, I got a baseball game for my son. Can you take over the shift? Instead of having the manager kind of deal with that, it's now incumbent of the workers to kind of figure that out. So we're also building that layer of communication. And then finally, we also have today already available is we have like a message notification. If you want to message your start times through the app, things like that, we could do that. And again, we tie in with Amazon, so a big spending time for us is Black Friday. So sometimes people turn on Rocket Start and get those Black Friday deals from their hard-earned points. So we sometimes use the app to communicate that, to take care of their Christmas shopping before the end of the year. So so we're also looking at AI. Obviously, a lot of people are doing that to improve the way we're bringing in data, but also to be able to pick and figure out hey, just 3 more loads and you'll meet this criteria for the week, right? Or have this, if you have this streak, encouragements, right? So being able to use AI to build those encouragements, almost we call it a companion app. That's what we want to be. We want to be a worker companion app that's encouraging all the good stuff that you do.
Well, Manny, we don't get a lot of good news. A lot of the things we talk about are problems and challenges, and this is certainly something that's kind of a ray of light. It brings a positive aspect to operations, and thank you for developing this, and we wish you the best in growing it into something even bigger and even better. But thank you for being with us on the podcast today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.